The Litra Glow Premium Streaming Light. Is this better than just some cheap selfie ring you can get on Amazon? Stick around and let's find out. All right, so let's take a look at the device itself. It comes in a very nice little attractive box. Get that out of the way. And essentially it comes in two parts. You have the USB-C cable. Nothing special about this, nothing proprietary. Feels like a good quality cable, branded with the Logitech logo. We'll set that to the side. And then here's the device itself, which is, it's attractive, it's plain, it's simple, it's minimalistic. I kind of dig that. It doesn't try to be super stylish or anything crazy. There's some rubberized feet here, underneath the lip. So this is where you would hook it to a monitor or something of that nature, wherever you're going to put it, a ledge, table, wherever. You obviously have a full degree of turning that you can do here, right? So it can pretty much hang and move wherever you want. And of course it adjusts up and down as well. Right, so you can pretty much get this however you want. And as a bonus, it extends. So if you need, kind of get it under the camera there, if you need a lot more height on this guy, you can do that as well. Now, what's really cool about this is it is mountable. So you can unscrew this and take the light source itself and pop it onto a tripod or any other mounting device that you might have laying around. So let's take a look at the device itself now that we have its own little tripod off. It's very simple. It's got a power on off, brightness up and down, and a warmth feature where you can make it cooler or warmer, and of course the USB-C port. Outside of that, there's not much going on. The power is behind this lens, and of course we need to go check that out now and show you just how this can illuminate your streaming life. All right, so we've taken a look at the hardware. Very, very simple. Couple of buttons, switches, and knobs on the back, no big deal. But how does it perform? Right, so what we're looking for is something very, very small, very, very cosmetically pleasing, but can deliver the goods. So if you really want to deliver the goods, you're going to need to use the G-Hub app. I tell you right now, I warn you with peace and love, you do not need to use the G-Hub app. It actually works completely on its own. And of course, you will have to plug the device into a USB port on your computer to make this work. You can just plug it into a USB battery pack or some other power source, and it will run just fine all by itself, and it's got all the adjustments you need on the back, as you saw previously. But let's see how it works. How does it work in a real-life situation? I have every light in my room turned off, except for a little 4 light right here. You can probably see that. Just a little tiny little mini spotlight that I got bouncing up off the ceiling to try to give some sort of light in here. So we're working in pretty much darkness along with my monitors providing me with some light. I've got an external camera over here sort of showing you what it looks like from an area light up point of view. So hopefully this will be enough information to give you what you need to know. So it's very, very simple. In this case, you can choose your camera source. In my case, I'm using the Logitech 920, but I'm running it through NVIDIA Broadcast to drop my background. Very nice piece of tool. It's free software, so if you haven't tried it, try it. It's amazing. But enough of that. So you have two different adjustments. You have cool and warm, and you have dim and bright. So very, very simple. Not a ton of sliders and gadgets to try to confuse you. It's what's the temperature and how bright do you want it to be. I love that. And of course, a standard power button. So we're going to put the temperature right in the middle. And we're going to leave it at dim so that we can sort of get an idea what this looks like at the lowest possible setting, and then we'll work our way up. So clicking on, and the light comes on. Now, you can see it was very, very subtle. I'll turn it off again, so you go back and forth. But look behind me. I mean, that's really a good testament, is how well does this light diffuse not only on the sides of you, but also in front of you and behind you. And you can see this has a pretty good reach. I'll turn it off again. Back on, and you can see that the area behind me is actually picking up very, very well. And this is on the dimmest possible setting, just so you can see that. And again, you should be able to see pretty well with the external camera. Obviously, I'm not well lit right now for this particular camera, but for the Logitech, I'm in pretty good shape. So let's take a look at how the color changes while we're in this lower light mode. We're going to go ahead and turn it down to blue. And you actually have to release the mouse button. You can't just drag it to get it. You have to drag and drop, drag and drop. So now we're on what they call a cool temperature, and we can take it all the way up to warm and all the way. So now you can see the color saturation in my shirt very, very well. You can see the redness on my lips. I'm sorry about that. But you got a pretty good, you can pretty well adjust this to whatever type of coloring that you have. I typically tend to be a little more pale, so I like to warm it up just a little bit. And so that looks pretty good for me. So let's move it up a quarter and see how that affects our brightness. So we're gonna move it up to about a quarter here. Wow, that was a lot of light. And so now I'm starting to get a little washed a little with that warm look. But you can see, even with the lighting up, I'm gonna put my hands out to the sides. Sorry, my NVIDIA Broadcast sort of wigs out with my fingers, but as you can see, I'm moving away from the light in the camera and up close. And you can see that the light diffusion works very, very well across the board. I'm really, I gotta tell you, I'm impressed with how well this works. I thought it was gonna be very disappointing, but this actually turns out to be pretty cool. So now we look at this other camera, you can, and obviously it's not working perfectly great for this particular camera because it's not set up right, but you can still see fairly well how it illuminates the area. Now we're only at 1/4 at this point. Let's move to half-ish. A lot more light. So if I want to keep the warmness, I'm going to have to dial it up a little bit more. Now you can see my shirt's getting a little, or I can cool it off, right? And give myself a little more pale, washed out vampire look. We can go full cool. So while we're here, I'll just kind of put this back in the middle. While we're here, let's look at these lighting settings. So you got cool blue. That turned it all the way to the brightest. I guess I shouldn't have done that one yet. Cozy daylight. Mid-afternoon. Kind of like that one. Soft sunset. And again, these are all just extrapolated from these sliders, right? That's all it is. It's nothing special. And you, of course, create your own preset. So once I dial in my vampirism, get myself a little bit of thing, and then add myself enough light, then I can go ahead and create that as a preset, and I can call this Shane Looks Good. It'll take more than a light to make that happen now. Okay, so now I have my own setting. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna level this temperature off, and we're gonna go with the full brightness so we can see exactly what it is that we're talking about here. How bright will this light get? That's on full bore, and I gotta tell you, it's bright. And you can see behind me, let me go ahead and turn it on and off, and you can see just how much of the background is getting illuminated. I know I've got it blurred out, but you can tell the brightness level of it. My room's a mess, otherwise I'd let you see it. And then, of course, we can compensate for the brightness by warming myself up just a little bit. Right, and there you go. And so you can literally, I don't know how well this will work, let's try it out. I'm gonna step back so you can see the illumination all the way back in my room. So I'm about 12 feet from the camera and the light, and I'm lit up very, very well. So that's pretty impressive. So obviously I don't need this much light all the time. So what I'm looking for is a good visual, and I will make myself look a little bit like I'm not a vampire, give myself a little bit of view. And there you go. So that's it. I mean, it's a light. I mean, how much else can I talk about it? It's an amazing little device. So please check it out. I'm going to leave links in the description. It just came out. It was a pre-order. I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get one of these things, but it would be perfect for anybody's arsenal who is doing any sort of video work, whether you need a portable device, whether you need something fixed to sit on your monitor like this. I think that you would be very, very happy with this light. It's very impressive. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell, and you'll be notified of future videos just like this one. As always, thanks so much for watching, and take care.